Hello everyone, hope you're all doing great. Make sure you check out my Instagram at Joe the Insomniac and my podcast in the description below. I love you and take care. This happened a few years ago with my friend June when we're maybe 17 or 18. I'm 23 now. We were out driving around late at night on country back roads. We were teenagers growing up in a rural area, so going for a drive was one of the main pastimes. We were both into goth stuff and witchcraft at the time, so we pulled off to the side of the road to walk around a small graveyard in the woods. It was impossible to see at night, but we'd gone there a few times in the day before just to hang out. The whole area is heavily forested, but the path to the graveyard is short. It's right next to the road, just barely hidden in the woods. So we started slowly walking on the small loop that takes you around all the gravestones. We're using our flashlights at the time. We're looking at all of the names on the stones. I was very comfortable being by graveyards at night. I'm very relaxed, honestly. We mused about ghosts and deaths and whatnot, as goth teenagers do. About halfway around the loop, at the furthest point from the car, June got my attention as she notices a light in the woods. It looked far away, like it could have been a car on the road, so we turned away and kept walking. However, about 30 seconds later, she got my attention again. The light was much closer, and obviously moving quickly towards us. And then, I heard the sound of somebody crashing through the woods. It's blatantly obvious now that somebody's coming towards us. They're making a beeline, they backtrack, and so do we run into the car. I unlock it and climbed into the car as fast as I can, and right before the light come on, this huge grisly looking man, dressed from head to toe in camouflage, comes busting out of the foliage and coming right for the car. He's armed with a crossbow and literally sprinting at us, screaming. He's clearly off his head. I reverse as quickly as I could and peel out of there. We don't stop driving for a while, even though we both never saw him following after us when we drive off. We both can't shake the feeling that we're being followed. Finally, I think we both got too tired to stay out any longer, and we went back to our home. I really can't stop thinking about just how quickly he actually got to us. The fact that we're pretty much in the middle of nowhere, and this person is waiting in the woods in full hunting gear with a crossbow, and we're clearly not animals. As we had a flashlight, there's no trespassing signs anywhere. The whole area is around a graveyard. It's obvious that we're not meant to be there, but he definitely wasn't hunting. I got out into the woods and into weird places in the night a lot, and I've seen some weird stuff I would consider supernatural, but this is the one thing that really scared the life out of me. None of these things ever made me afraid to go into the woods like he did. I had my best friend. We'd always go for walks in the forest together. My friend wasn't very well at the time. He had an autoimmune illness, so I had to stay far away from him when we were talking and walking. This was great because it meant that he was unlikely to catch any illness that I potentially had, but kind of scary if you're going through the woods close to night. It didn't matter though. We're both young men who are fairly big, so we didn't really care too much. Call it blind luck that we never ran into anyone until this event, but I was very confident going into the woods. Now we start talking about life and we're just having a good time generally when we decide to sit on some logs and continue our conversation. My buddy turns off his headlamp for a bit to try and save some energy, and I do the same because last time my headlamp went off and it is only because of his that we're able to get out again. As we do so, we suddenly hear steps around us. Neither of us actually reacted at first because we both assumed that one another were moving. It's only a few moments later when our eyes can adjust in the darkness that we realise it's not one another. Now, we both give each other a blank stare when we realise this, It sounds like there's loads of people running in circles around us, but there's literally no one. Like that, we both flick on our headlights, and just as mine comes on, I catch the glimmer of a very tall shadowy figure by a tree. That's enough time for me to let out a scream, and my buddy sees the exact same thing I do. The craziest part is that you can't see through this thing. The light shines directly on it and there's nothing behind it, and it's slowly coming towards us. We both pick up our bottles and start sprinting as quick as we possibly can back to my friend's car. We both feel like we're about to have a heart attack, but we're safe now. We're both trying to say what the hell was that thing we just saw. And as we do so, we can hear them footsteps again, this time sounding like they're closer than before. We both got straight into his car and sped out of there like there was no tomorrow. To this day, we've never seen anything like it. I mean, we never went back to them woods again for a start, but I can't find that many people that have had similar experiences to us. All I know is that it scared the life out of me, and I'm glad I was not alone when this happened.